Hello Kindergarten, today I'm going to teach you how to make a little clay ladybug. So this is the idea of what it will look like. Obviously it doesn't have the color or the spots or anything yet, but this is how we're going to make it to start with. So you're going to start with some clay, and I want you to take a little piece and set it to the side because that's going to be the little part for the head. Then you're going to take the bigger piece and you're going to roll that into a ball. So there are two ways to roll it into a ball. You want to first kind of squeeze it in your hands like I'm doing to get it a little more round, but now we want to get it smooth. So there's two ways. You can do this with your hands, pressing together, or you can put it onto your placemat and you can roll like this. Now your placemat might move with it, so you got to hold it down with your other hand. Okay? All right. So this is for the main part of the body. What I like to do is I like to set it on my placemat and I like to press just a little bit to make it a little flatter so it's not as rounded. Now I'm going to take a clay tool, so this is just a popsicle stick, and I'm going to draw a line starting in the middle and going down like that. And that's kind of to separate the wings for the ladybug. Okay? Alright, now I'm going to take my smaller piece of clay and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn that into a ball. Now your piece of clay, this is for the head, so if it's too big, take some clay off of it and make it a little smaller. Okay? It depends on how you want yours to look. And we need to attach these pieces of clay together. So you want to get your little ball for the head, and you're going to take a fork and you're going to do something called scratching the clay. So right on the other side of the line that I drew, right here, I'm going to scratch the clay with my fork. And I'm going to go this way and I'm going to go this way. Okay? And then I just kind of dust off all the little crumbs. Notice how I didn't scratch around the whole thing. It's just this little spot. This is where I'm going to attach the head. Okay, and now I find where am I going to attach it on my little side, and I want to scratch that with the fork. So it doesn't look very pretty. Okay, and then you dip your hands in some water. You want to rub water on the scratch marks. Okay, and you want to make the scratch marks touch each other. They go together like that. That's going to help it all stay together. So I'm going to press them together. Then with my finger I'm going to kind of just smooth out around it so it doesn't look as sloppy. Okay, so this is how you make a ladybug, and we're going to let it dry and then we will paint them so it'll look even more like a ladybug with the red and the black spots. Today we are going to begin painting our ladybug that we made out of clay. So I have red and black paint, and I'm going to begin with the red. I do not need to get my paintbrush wet. I can just dip it right into the paint. Okay, so I have my placemat. I do have a bucket of water so I can rinse my brush, and I'm going to need a Q-tip to make the dots for the ladybug. So you want to paint the bigger portion of your ladybug all red. You don't want to paint your little circle red. That's going to be the head, so we're going to paint that black. So you just dip it in the paint and paint. Now it's going to be a little tricky, that little line that you made to separate the wings. What I'm doing is I'm kind of just trying to put my little paintbrush in there a little bit to get as much as I can painted. And I'm smoothing out the paint as I go. So I'm going to hold it up. And right here around the head, that's going to be a tricky part. I got to slow down. And you want to make sure you're painting the sides of your ladybug as well. We don't want to see the clay, okay? You don't need to paint the bottom because that's going to be laying on the table, so we don't need to paint that. But if you lay it on the table And you can still see parts of it that don't have paint on it, and you need to cover that up. Okay, now I will rinse my paintbrush really well. And you want to wipe it on the side of your bucket so you get the water out of the bristles. Now I'm going to paint the head, so I'm going to dip it into the black paint. And this is going to be a little tricky because the red paint is wet. So I don't really want to touch the red part with my hands. So I gotta just be very, very careful here and go very, very slow. I'm going super slow right where the black meets the red, so I don't get the colors combined. You want to fill up any spots that you see. You don't want to see the bare clay. You want it to be covered. And you don't need to paint the bottom if we don't see it, only where we can see. So I'm going to double check everything. I'm going to see if everything is covered. And I realize it is not. So I got to paint a little more down here. And I need a little more red too, so I got to rinse my brush and get some red. Okay, so there's the bottom. You can see I painted some of it. Not all of it, though. Okay, so now I can put my paintbrush in the water, and now I'm going to get a Q-tip, okay? And I'm going to dip this into the black, and this is how I'm going to create the polka dots on our ladybug. You don't want to create too many polka dots. Notice how I just had to dip back in? It's because some of my paint was running off. And notice when I put the Q-tip into the paint, I'm not putting the entire Q-tip in, I'm just putting the tip of it. So this is how you create your ladybug. So we just have to let this sit to dry, and you've made a clay ladybug. Super cute.